Ever since Murderbot premiered on Apple TV Plus on May 16, 2025, the sci-fi thriller has garnered a curious fan base in a remarkably short time. Based on The Murderbot Diaries by American author Martha Wells, the series features a team of scientists accompanied by a security robot as they explore a hostile environment filled with unknown creatures. Things take an unusual turn when the titular character, the malfunctioning security robot, breaks the reins of predestination and starts exercising free will. As the story unfolds, there are so many unanswered questions, like what is the giant centipede-like alien creature that keeps coming back? What do they eat? Who created them? And are they evil? In today's video, we're going to explain its complete origin, anatomy, powers, habitat, mating cycle, and basically everything that we know about these creatures so far. So without much ado, let's jump into Murderbot 2025 TV series. Murderbot revolves around the story of a cyborg created by Corporation RIM to aid a team of researchers on their mission to a distant planet. The story is set in a futuristic society where humans have developed advanced technology that has made intergalactic travel and wormhole transit an everyday phenomenon. The cyborg was initially decommissioned but later revived and rebooted, which leads him to experience flashbacks of a violent past. Somehow, he's managed to hack into its governor's module, the central programming, and is thus a free man, or a free robot, we mean. But if anyone even remotely gets a hint of his newfound free will, he'll be taken back to the corporation and melted in a vat of acid. So you see, he not only exercises independent choice, but also experiences human emotions, such as the fear of pain and mortality. He holds a sharp disdain for humanity, struggling with eye contact and finding conversations a drag. He renames himself as Murderbot simply because he finds it cool. He spends his day minutely observing the team of scientists who he was sent to protect on the inhospitable planet. Also, he is awfully addicted to TV, watching countless hours of soap operas and mocking humanity as a pastime. But he also exhibits remarkable human emotions like care, comfort, and concern. One day, he saves two of the researchers from a brutal attack by a hostile creature, after which he comforts one of them back to safety. The team, however, grows suspicious of his intentions precisely because of this. He's a robot, and he isn't supposed to act this way. One of the teammates, Guruthan, a transhuman, tries to investigate Murderbot. Since a lot of information provided by the corporation is missing, the team decides to travel to the other side of the planet to collect data. There, they find another research facility where their sec unit had turned into an actual murderous bot, killing everyone in his team. The only survivor there happens to be Lee BB, the perpetually horny cleaning lady whom they rescue, but she turns out to be a snitch, working as a mercenary to buy social security on her planet. That's all we get to know about her before Murderbot blows her head off. There are way too many unanswered questions. Who was she working for? What do they want? The team, now led by Murderbot, can only prepare for battle as they wait for the unknown forces that will attack them. Meanwhile, the planet is populated with hostile creatures about whom we know very little. Mysterious origins. One of the major mysteries in the show is the origin of these giant centipede-like creatures. On one hand, they could be the native species of that planet, existing naturally and minding their own business. The series does give us a glimpse at the unique flora and fauna on the planet, which don't exactly fit into our conventional notions of earthly plants and animals. The centipedes here are like that. They look naturally suited to the environment, yet they look abominable, like they shouldn't be there. While the team of scientists walked through the alien locale, we couldn't help but notice the burst of color. Purple leaves in the distance, reddish bulbous plants sprouting out from the ground, looking odd and mysterious. There are times when the camera even uses this extraordinary vegetation as a frame through which we see the scientists exploring the environment. So yeah, these giant centipedes could have just existed naturally. Terraforming. Let's first understand what terraforming really is. It's basically the scientific technique of manipulating the atmosphere, temperature, topography, and ecology of a planet in order to transform it into an Earth-like planet. That is, you have to first pick a planet from the Goldilocks zone, which is basically the most suitable region in space for life to exist. It's neither too hot nor too cold, close enough to its star that it neither burns nor freezes. With advanced technology, such as the stuff the futuristic scientists possess, there will be streams of water gushing out of ravines, mosses, and lichens painting the gray rocks green, and the sky will turn blue and breathable. Just like that, this planet the scientists are currently exploring, a barren piece of planetary rock, was made habitable through science. Throughout the series, we keep hearing this word, terraforming. Mensa is introduced as the head of the expedition who specializes in terraforming. The planet has giant craters, barren desert land, caves, ponds, and somewhat bare-bones forests, very similar to the geological formations of the Earth. Consequently, you would expect it to follow a natural course of Darwinian evolution where we get these giant insects like the ones we got during the dinosaurs age on Earth. So it could be that these centipedes are the evolutionary byproducts of terraforming, that is, they're natural outcomes of a synthetic environment. The Corporation Rim. As much as we want to believe that these are naturally occurring creatures, the involvement of the Corporation Rim cannot be completely ousted. For that, we need to figure out the company's intentions. First of all, it's no secret that the corporation has been involved in numerous shady activities, much of which is recollected through brief snippets and flashbacks. We know that the company doesn't really treat the SEC units as any more than mindless robots, serving humans and churning profits. Our group of scientists, especially Mensa, didn't at all want to bring a SEC unit with them, but she still went along with it because if she didn't, the team wouldn't get insurance. In such a dystopian techno-capitalist setting, the corporation wouldn't think twice before playing God irresponsibly. So it only makes sense that perpetual danger in this habitat would boost profits from insurance. Even the group suspects this, but then Rathi reminds them that the corporation wouldn't want them to actually die because that would reflect poorly on the company's clientele. Secondly, a corporation that has a literal facility to manufacture anthropomorphized robots in bulk, and that too with such intricate detailing and precision, could very well play with nature elsewhere as well. With such advanced technology, the corporation definitely has the potential to take a few cultures of centipedes, alter their genomes, and release the modified cultures onto the barren land. After all, it was the company that granted permission to the scientists for their mission. It was the company that provided them with the maps to navigate the place. Doesn't it feel like too much of a coincidence that some parts of these maps were missing, and these creatures popped up in one such region whose information was withheld? Anatomy. These creatures are giant predatory arthropods that extend for yards in length. They're extremely agile, moving through the barren land with extreme dexterity. A number of sharp and pointy legs help them scuttle through the difficult terrain with speed and ease. Their bony exterior makes them resilient, almost like giant lobsters. Their mouths have a slimy orifice through which they can gulp down any prey. It's like there's no escape if you find yourself facing off against one of these hellish abominations. The males look very different from the females, having squid-like tentacles and shorter but wider bodies. They are also different in color, with the male being more purplish while the female one is a faded sepia. Then they have these sharp appendages around their mouth which look like venomous pincers, except we don't quite know if these creatures are actually venomous. Powers. I mean, they don't even need venom to protect themselves. Within seconds, they'll appear out of nowhere and mash you out like chewed bubblegum. As for food, we don't know anything about their sustenance, but they do seem carnivorous given the way they attacked Bardwatch when she was working on site. We wonder if they're the apex predators on this planet. Bardwatch, suffering from PTSD after recovering from the attack, says that all her life she had believed she was an apex creature, and suddenly a worm crawled out of the ground and shook her entire viewpoint. I mean, humans haven't naturally appeared yet, and these creatures could very well be the T-Rex versions of centipedes. Habitat. These giant creatures are subterranean worms living in underground burrows. Can you imagine that? The soil you're walking over has whole colonies of giant arthropods crawling underneath. It's upsetting to say the least. However, we don't know exactly what this underground looks like. So far, until episode 7, we've seen these creatures only thrice. Once, when the scientists were collecting samples from the ground, engaging in casual banter and pissing off Murderbot while he was monitoring the perimeter. The security robot sent some changes in the stats, and within seconds, the ground starts shaking and there was dust everywhere. Something monstrous crept out of the haze, and we could see this absolutely terrifying giant alien centipede crawling out of the ground and threatening the lives of the explorers. The second sighting was by Mensa when she was climbing up an elongated elevation, which later turned out to be the walls of a crater-like valley full of worms. Imagine this. As she's ascending the heights, she gets a panic attack, and just behind her, the worm crawls out. The group had sensed vibrations similar to those of the first attack, and Sec Unit immediately warned her of danger. But surprisingly, the worm doesn't attack Mensa. In fact, the giant beast scoots off to the top of the hill and dives into the valley. Mensa watches a whole colony of centipedes lying there motionless, surrounding a nucleus whose nature and form remain a mystery. The body bodies of the worms resemble ribs or spikes around a center as if they're strands of a network. Now, we don't know what kind of network it is, but this is definitely one of those hotspots inhabited by centipedes. What's more surprising is that these creatures are magnetic worms. Mansa watches a UFO-like spaceship getting pulled over the nucleus and imploding into 1,000 pieces. That was the worm's doing. There are only two things that could have happened. One, these creatures are highly intelligent beings who know exactly what they're doing. I mean, with sentience being a dominant theme in the series, this doesn't seem unlikely. Maybe they're pissed at these outsiders for encroaching on their habitat, probing into their colonies, and changing their homes via terraforming. Perhaps their constant proximity to the planet's subterranean core makes them living magnets. Or these creatures could have been endowed with magnetic properties by the corporation that created them, and now the company utilizes them as magnetic tools to counter opposition and hostility. Who knows? All we can do is wait and find out. Breeding! The third time we see these monsters, they crawl out of the ground just outside the team's tent. First, one of them climbs to the top of the tent or ship facility where the scientists are living. Soon, another one appears out of nowhere and they rock the whole tent as they mate. It's kind of an awkward situation, but hey, it's just biology. For Murderbot, this is no different from the little polycule the humans had formed. So why the ship? Like any other creature, these centipedes had sensed the heat radiating from the ship as an excellent breeding ground for their eggs to hatch. Once they're done copulating, hundreds of not-so-tiny egg sacs are hung in clusters on the ship's walls. It looks like one of those disgusting tropical fruits, white and pulpy with black seeds inside. The worms are very protective of their unhatched eggs. When the errant sec unit from the other facility destroys a bunch, a worm darts out of the ground and decapitates the robot before returning to the ground with the other set of eggs. That also makes us wonder if maybe they aren't evil creatures who want to chomp on anything chewy. This is the race to evolution after all, the survival of the fittest, and these creations of nature are working solely towards self-preservation and the perpetuation of their species. Marvelous verdict! Fans are absolutely frothing at the mouth as the mystery unfurls with each new episode. Alexander Skarsgård's perfect timing and deadpan humor makes the show hilarious and riveting. The oblique yet obvious references to Star Wars bring nostalgia, action, and sheer fun all in one frame. The show has everything you could ask for: sci-fi, fantasy, aliens, wormholes, spaceships, pretty landscapes, tyrannical corporations, raunchy lesbian scenes, and above all, mysterious centipedes that kill you, spare you, and mate on top of your roof. With the show revealing the creatures in a slow burn, I guess we're definitely in for some sort of big surprise. We just can't wait for the next episodes to stream on Apple TV+. Till then, let us know which of these giant centipede theories you gel with the most. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.